Oh man, these trailers just will not stop, will they? We got 4 trailers released in the last week, so I'm going to discuss each one of them. I'm not going to do like cool things or like breakdowns or anything like that. I'm just going to do discussions for each one of them. Click around here to check any of the ones you want, any of the other ones you want to see. Apocalypse, Star Trek Beyond, or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, so you can click here. But right now, let's talk about Independence Day Resurgence. Now, I'm starting with this one because I feel like I have more to say about this one, because I actually did plan to do a how to do it video on Independence Day Resurgence quite some time ago, but I actually scrapped it because as I was putting it together and piecing it together, and I was looking online for any clues I could get or images I could get that'd be useful, basically I found out what the whole plot is going to be just from interviews, and I was able to piece it together. So I didn't bother doing the how to do it video because I was like, well, I already know what it's going to be, and it's nothing like what I thought it would be. And if you've seen this trailer, it's basically just the first movie again with some new elements. And I even found a quote from one of the filmmakers. I don't know whether it was the director or someone else, but someone involved in the making of the movie creatively, and they basically just said, this is the same story recycled again, only with a few new cool elements. Now granted, some of those new elements are cool, and I'm going to cover them in a little bit of detail later, but just for any of you who are wondering, the how to do it idea I was going to pitch was like Screen Junkies pitched an idea for the sequel, which would be they attacked us in Independence Day, the first one, so now we're attacking their home planet. My idea was going to be Independence Day starts, alien ships show up again, we're like, battle stations everybody, they're back. And when they arrive, it's just one ship, and it's like busted up and broken down, it just crashes. And all the aliens come out and they're like, don't shoot, we surrender. Turns out the aliens, after they lost us in Independence Day, they went to another planet, tried to do the same to that alien species there, but they whooped them even worse than we did, wiped out their entire civilization, and that one ship is the only thing that's left. And now they're like, well, those aliens that are worse than us, they're now on their way here to Earth, so if you want to survive, we need to work together to defend against them. So I thought that'd be kind of good, because we get new aliens with new weapons and a new threat, but at the same time we have to work together with our old enemies, so there'd be a lot of friction there, some good character stuff. Yeah, none of that's going to happen. It's just a remake of the first movie again. Alright, let's talk about some of these new elements, because some of the ones that I was able to dig up, no one's really covered yet. First of all, in a very early version of the script, Brent Spiner's character was going to be in it. You remember from the first movie, he was the crazy scientist guy that was sort of working on the aliens, and he ended up getting thrown against the glass with a tentacle around his neck, and where he was like, release me, no. Well, he was going to come back, because you remember he didn't really die, he just kind of slid down the glass. We don't know whether his brain melted or what, but he was going to come back, and the idea was he was going to be like have a split personality, because the alien was kind of using him as a mouthpiece. So he's got like his human personality, but now he's also got that alien personality. So he's got like the two sides to him, and in that way, Brent Spiner was kind of going to be like the voice of the aliens. He could speak for them because he still had that connection, which I think is really cool. And based on this trailer, Brent Spiner's been thrown out, and Bill Pullman, the ex-president from Independence Day 1, he's now been plugged into that role. So I think that's where he's going to be. He's going to be the voice of the aliens, and that would explain why he's locked up behind plate glass, because he could probably switch into his alien mode at any moment and freak out. Another thing I was also able to dig up is that, okay, this is a little bit fanfiction-y, a little bit strange, but so I'll just give you the evidence and you can piece it together. But the president is a female in this, and it was also said in a separate interview by one of the actors that there is a lesbian relationship somewhere in this movie, and they don't make a big deal about it, it's just kind of there. He didn't really say who the characters were, but Bill Pullman's daughter, who we see in the trailer, is said to also be working for this new lady president in a special capacity, and she has been told in interviews to not say exactly what that capacity is. So connect the dots. I'm saying that Bill Pullman's daughter is probably the first lady and is married to the lady president. So I think the president is probably a lesbian in this, which, and regardless of your politics or where you stand on that, you know, why is that in Independence Day? Like, is that really the proper platform for this? Anyway, whatever. Another thing I found is that The aliens which we see in the trailer, it looks like a little community of aliens that were left over. Perhaps some survivors from one of the crashed spaceships managed to escape and set up their own little colony somewhere on the Earth that's only being discovered now, strangely, for some reason. Looks like it's in Africa somewhere. But apparently, with them, there's some kind of virus or some mind control thing that's going on the Earth that's causing people to act weird, which is what Jeff Goldblum is investigating in the beginning, which must lead him to this colony thing. But that's kind of like, you remember in Independence Day, a lot of the first act of that was Jeff Goldblum trying to figure out this signal that he was picking up from the satellites with the aliens communicating with each other. He was trying to unlock that. Now in this one, he's trying to unlock why people are acting so weird. So it's probably something like these aliens have sent a message back to the rest of the aliens to come and get them, and they're using this mind control thing to make people crazy so that we're distracted by that when they come. It's probably something like that. Liam Hemsworth is working on a moon base, which you see in the trailer, which is not only like, it's sort of a mining thing, but it's also kind of like a early warning so they can see when the ships are coming. I don't know, look, here's the problem with an Independence Day sequel. A big part, well, the biggest parts of what made up Independence Day, what made it such a big hit and so special at that time, was Will Smith, for one thing, that hit during the peak of Will Smith popularity. He's still popular today, but not as popular as he was back then. He was white hot. He was so loved back then. Still is, but not as much. And even if he is, who cares? He's not in this one, okay? So you don't have the Will Smith appeal that you had before. Also, Independence Day hit at the peak of when special effects still wowed the audiences. People were still impressed by special effects. We're not impressed by special effects anymore today because we get them so much. Special effects are not special anymore. They're actually very common. They should just be called effects, not special effects. There's nothing special about them. So not only do you not have the Will Smith appeal this time, and you do not have the wow factor of the special effects, also the name Independence Day does not have any street cred anymore. Normally when they're doing sequels or reboots or remakes or whatever, it's because the name associated with that brand has a built-in audience. I don't think the name Independence Day has a built-in audience anymore. People don't care. We've all moved on. It's been so long since the last one. Like, I was there for the original Independence Day movie. I remember when we saw it. You know, people were cheering in the crowds. It was really great. Everybody loved it. But we've all moved on. Does it matter? It doesn't matter. So here's the thing, the sequel, you got no Will Smith, you got no appeal of special effects, you've got no street cred or nostalgia attached to your name. So what do you have to offer that separates you from every other movie just like this? Really, the only thing they can do to separate them from everybody else is the story. And based off what I've read, based off the trailer, the story's just the same thing again. It's just the same thing. So, I don't know. Like I said, there's some cool stuff, but overall it just seems to lack a lot of imagination. What can I say? And as a fan of the original movie, someone who was there during the hype of all of it, I don't see any difference between this and all the other generic movies that are out at the moment. I don't really see anything that separates this movie from anything else. I mean, hopefully if they do have something special, they'll show us in another trailer, but I wouldn't hold my breath about it. Okay guys, so that's Independence Day. If you want to check out any of my discussions on any of the other latest trailers, you can click around right here.